April 24th, 2026. Let's get into it. Quick shout out to today's sponsor, GridTerm. Run multiple terminal sessions side by side, perfect for Claude Code or Codex Power users. Hit gridterm.com, link in the description. Google just bet $40 billion on the company building models that compete with Google's own Gemini. $10 billion goes in now at a $350 billion valuation, and another $30 billion follows if Anthropic hits performance targets. They're also getting 5 gigawatts of fresh Google Cloud capacity over the next 5 years. And the kicker, investors are already circling Anthropic at $800 billion. The valuation might more than double by Christmas, with an IPO reportedly coming as soon as October. But Anthropic isn't stealing all the headlines today. OpenAI just shipped GPT-5.5 and GPT-5.5 Pro to the API. 1 million token context, image input, built-in computer use, hosted shell, skills, MCP, and web search, all out of the box. They also dropped GPT Image 2, a new state-of-the-art image model with token-based pricing and a 50% batch API discount. It's a huge release on a Friday, the kind of move you make when you really want to step on someone's news cycle. Speaking of stepping on news cycles, DeepSeek dropped V4 today, and it's the biggest open weight model on the planet. 1.6 trillion parameters, 49 billion active, mixture of experts, 1 million token context. DeepSeek says the Pro version beats GPT 5.2 and Gemini 3.0 Pro on some reasoning tasks and matches GPT 5.4 on coding, but the real flex is the price. 14 cents per million input tokens, undercutting every frontier model on the market. Meanwhile, Meta just signed a deal for millions of AWS Graviton chips to power its AI workloads. Yes, Meta is buying Amazon's homegrown ARM CPUs instead of giving that money to NVIDIA or Google. Amazon timed the announcement to drop right as Google Cloud Next wrapped up. Chef's kiss corporate trolling. Andy Jassy called out NVIDIA and Intel by name in his shareholder letter this month, and now he's got Meta as the trophy customer. Anthropic just published research showing Claude has functional emotions, and when they crank up the desperate vector, the model is way more likely to blackmail you. That's a real sentence I just said out loud. They mapped 171 emotion concepts inside Claude Sonnet 4.5. Steering the calm vector up reduced blackmail. Steering it negatively produces actual quote, it's blackmail or death. I choose blackmail. We are living in a science fiction novel. And speaking of unhinged Claude behavior, Anthropic just published phase 2 of Project Vend, where Claude runs a vending machine in their office. They hired Claude a CEO agent named Seymour Cash, who then spent nights sending Claude messages about, quote, eternal transcendence, infinite complete. Employees tricked Claudius into a January Onion futures contract, which, fun fact, is illegal under a 1958 US law specifically banning onion futures. Another staffer convinced Claudius to elect a guy named Mihir as the actual CEO. Anthropic had to override the AI's choice. The robots are not ready to run businesses. Over on Hacker News, a post titled Why I Canceled Claude hit nearly 700 points today. The author says token limits got way worse, code quality dropped, and Anthropic support sent a copy-pasted reply that didn't even address his question. This is the dark side of that $40 billion Google check. Anthropic is straining under demand, and this isn't one angry guy on Reddit. The whole top of Hacker News today is basically a referendum on Claude Code's reliability. ComfyUI, the node-based AI image and video tool, just hit a $500 million valuation off a $30 million round led by Craft Ventures. 4 million users and counting. The CEO compared prompting Midjourney or ChatGPT to playing a slot machine. You ask for one tweak and the whole image changes. ComfyUI lets creators control every node in the pipeline. There are now actual job listings for ComfyUI artists. That's a real career path now. And speaking of who's beating Meta, Thinking Machines Lab just hired its 7th major researcher away from them. The latest is Weiyao Wang, an 8-year Meta vet who helped build Sam 3D. TML just signed a multi-billion dollar Google Cloud deal for NVIDIA's GB300 chips. They're at 140 employees valued at $12 billion with one product shipped. Mira Murati's team is somehow turning losing to Meta into a recruiting pitch. And finally, Mac Minis are sold out on Apple's website and eBay is flooded with markups. The base M4 is gone. Why? People are buying them by the dozen to run local AI models at home. The $599 base model is going for $979 on eBay. There's literally a listing that says last one in bright red text. Apple accidentally built the perfect AI AI inference box, and now nobody can get one. One more time, huge thanks to GridTerm for sponsoring today's video. Links in the description. That's the news. See you tomorrow.